Oh, just 1 second, everybody. Please, 1 second. I totally forgot to upload the video. Well, we'll get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Crowd the Fun. I was a little delay there. Hello. Why am I getting feedback? Hello, welcome to this is just the way the Indie Escape starts. Hold. Sorry about that. Look at that. I did my. Why am I getting an echo? Anyways, welcome to Crowd the Fun, the show on the Indie Escape where we talk about an Indiegogo. Sorry, I'm getting feedback like crazy, and I think it's I don't know what's going on. Oh, you know what? Sorry. I had the that's my fault. This is how professional I am today on the Indie Escape, everybody. Hello, I'm CJ Robes. Welcome to Crowd the Fun. We're gonna do a Q&A today with director Rob Mabry and Sam Peirce on the project The Legend of El Chupacabra. So I did have an intro for them, but it didn't upload the way I wanted to. So we're gonna talk about what Crowd the Fun is real quick for all those that are just chiming in. It is the crowdsource show or the crowdfunding show on the Indie Escape Network where we support other creatives that are in the process of having a GoFundMe or an Indiegogo. Tonight I happen to have a director and actor from a project that we're about to talk about. Hold on, I just found the video for the intro. I'm sorry, I'm running a little behind. And this is how we run the show. Mike Professor in the green room. I got one more second. I got my two viewers. Who is that? Is that Sean Smithson? Who's up in here? Let's see. All right, here we go. Let's get the show started. Hello, everybody. Now I'm going to bring in our guests for this evening, the creators of The Legend of El Chupacabra. Hey, Rob, how's it going?
What's going on? Thanks to appreciate you having me there, CJ.
Hey, no problem. And we got Sam Peirce. How's it going, Sam?
Howdy, y'all. How's it going?
What's up, Joe? Joe's going to be late on his own funeral. Yeah, right. See, Joe originally is a producer on one of the producers on the network, and he doesn't really understand the theatrics behind a lot of these shows. This is live theater. And this is how we got here tonight, because I work with Sam at the theater. And a couple weeks ago, we started talking about movie making and filmmaking. And he told me about his movie he's working with. And he told me about his director he's working with, based out of San Antonio. And I was like, we have a show on the Indie Escape called Crowd the Fun. You guys have an Indiegogo. Let's crack into it. Let's see what this is all about.
It's a match made in heaven.
It is. It is. So I was thinking that we should just go. I really liked your Indiegogo video. So
nice.
if you mind, before we even, I would just show it so we can show people we're gonna.
I would love it. It'll explain a lot, I think, about what the film is all about.
Cool. So we're gonna play this the Indiegogo trailer, I guess, for the Legend of El Chupacabra. So hold on, let me get that going. Where are we at? Here we are. Boom, that guy up.
El Chupacabra is not of this land. It comes from darkness. It will not be easy to defeat.
So what I'm hearing is pack up your shit and go home?
What's going on, everybody? Rob Mabry here, writer and director of The Legend of El Chupacabra, and what you just saw was the proof of concept trailer for the film that we'll be making this fall. The Legend of El Chupacabra is a monster thriller comedy. It's a buddy pick about a kid named Pete Mackey who's been obsessed with El Chupacabra since he was a little boy. And when people start disappearing from the small Texas town that Pete calls home, he has to convince two of his childhood friends to join him in his quest to take down El Chupacabra and save their town. The film is a mix of sci-fi and horror with action and comedy, and if you enjoyed any of the films that you see here, well, you're probably going to be a big fan of our movie too. We want to make a hilarious comedy with scares and thrills. We've already got Sergio Guerra of Face Off fame working on our creature costume for El Chupacabra. Extreme Force Hollywood Stunts is joining us to help amp up our action sequences, and Baker Vision Films will step behind the camera to produce amazing cinematography. So I hope you'll join us on this movie-making adventure. We can't wait to take you behind the scenes to see what it's like to make an ultra-low-budget monster movie. And as a supporter of the film, you'll be able to join our Discord channel and talk directly with the producers and the director, myself, of the film. I can't wait to make this very Texas movie right here in the Texas Hill Country. It's incredibly exciting. I hope that you'll join us on this filmmaking adventure. So what do you say? Let's make a movie.
That's awesome. That's a
Well, the first minute is awesome. I don't know about the 3 minutes of me there doing the crowdfunding, but you got to do it right.
I do like it though, because you had the graphics transition of all the titles. I saw Rubber was in there. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
so
that's great.
I'm like, I bet I've seen all these movies. That's awesome. So let's get started, Rob. Where you from?
So, been in Texas for about 25 years now. Kind of lived all over the world. My dad was in the Air Force, and I was actually born in San Antonio. He almost immediately went to Japan. I've lived in Germany. I've spent about 8 years of my life there. So kind of all over, but for the last 25 years, I've been here in San Antonio.
Yeah, and you've been doing filmmaking the whole time, or
No, I really got serious about it in 2017. I did a 48-hour film project. Yeah. But for me, like, it goes way back. I've been a writer since I was a little kid, like drawing, comic books, just always wrote. I was a journalist. I was in the Army and I was a journalist. So, being a writer, like, the dream for me was, in the 90s, wanted to be a screenwriter, go to Hollywood, be Shane Black. Like, that was the thing. But, life interfered, had to get a real job. And, so I continued to write, throughout. But, I think it was 2017. I heard about this thing called the 48-hour film project. And I just kind of realized, like, hey, I could make a movie, right? Like, that was always the dream, to see the things that I wrote up on the screen. And I saw that as an opportunity, and I did it. I was a writer and producer on the project that we did for the San Antonio Film Festival. It's called Cutthroat. It was pretty cool. And I just continued to do the 48 and started to do short films. And I, started to get in my mind, like, I feel like I'm starting to gather the skills that I need to make a feature film. And so I started to work towards that, plan it. And here we are, looking to make The Legend of El Chupacabra this fall.
And that's like Texas folklore, so it's pretty close to home. Now, Sam, you're an actor in the movie. How did you get mixed up on all this?
Well, I guess my background doesn't go too far back. I did a little bit of theater at the tail end of high school. But I didn't really start getting into acting and other creative things until I went to Texas State. And when I got there, I almost immediately joined the comedy club there called the Comedy Association at Texas State. And from there, I met a bunch of people that do comedic things, sketches, stand-up, all that kind of thing. and I really fell into sketch comedy, acting in sketches and also writing them. So that was kind of my main forte for a long time. And then I found Rob in 2019 through Backstage when he was making a short film called The Tuckering, which was sort of a spoof slasher film, kind of like a spoof of, Friday the 13th and those kind of movies. And I really liked the idea, so I auditioned for that. Rob got into contact with me, and then we shot that in, I believe it was fall of 2019. And then from there, I've just been doing projects with Rob every now and then when I'm not doing other sketch stuff or things with my comedy association friends. I'm doing stuff with Rob, which is up until now, it's been all short films, but this is our first feature length together for both of us. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, I've been trying to break into my feature. It's just last year I was ready to get started, and it takes a minute, but you got to, I guess, figure out exactly what you want to do. Because I've done a lot of the 48. That's why I started when I was a kid doing a lot of just AV stuff, and I took the class in high school. But when 2013, I just moved back from LA, and I was like, man, you can work on movies, but this isn't really what I want to kind of work like movies like this. In Austin, when I was here at first, I was like working on small sets, independent stuff, so it's like smaller. And then I got to LA I was there for a year and did a bunch of like corporate stuff, and I was like, oh, this kind of sucks. And then when I came back, I realized I was like, all right, I know I can kind of figure it out on my own. And a friend of mine, he said, let's do the San Antonio 48, and I did it, and we won. And the 2013, I think the summer one, we won that one. I was like, all right, I think I'll just keep working on this. So over the years, I just kept going.
What was the name of the film?
It was called what's it called? My Secret Companion, or My Secret Companion. It was one where the robot, it was a guy gets a robot girlfriend, and she starts having malfunction problems, and he has to return her. Yeah, I wrote that one with David, I believe David Reese, and we wrote it, and I have a little small scene in it. But it was fun just working with Chris Piccialo. I was working with him, and it was just fun just getting to go. And he was like, yeah, just do them. And I started just jumping into them. Coincidentally, I started taking classes at ACC, and I started taking a screenwriting class, and I met Aline Hardy. She's the one that's in charge of the Austin 48. So I was just kind of like, I guess I'm supposed to keep doing these. So I just kept going, and yeah. What as your so you have done a few shorts as your feature? What was it to go horror or slasher, or because our producer Joe originally says great looking practical effects for a concept trailer, and I know he's going to give you one of these for that. So
well, Joe, I really appreciate that, and it is a horror comedy. But I that claw that you see, I made that claw. I spent a couple years pretty involved in the cosplay scene, and specialized in like video game characters, building the armor. So I learned a lot of the techniques from that.
Okay.
And I started to talk to our effects artist, Sergio Guerra, guy who was on Face Off. And I was like, hey, what would it take to make this claw and, hand? I explained to him what I wanted. And he was like, well, that's $500. And I was like, well, shit, I can't afford $500, for something that's going to be on screen for like 10 seconds. Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to make this myself. And so it's PVC and garbage bags and it's tape and latex and some thermoplastic. But yeah, I think it, on screen, it turned out pretty well. So I was happy with it.
How long did it take y'all to shoot that concept trailer?
We shot the sequence that's in the trailer in one night. Okay. So yeah. Cool. It was started probably about 7 p.m., wrapped about 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Okay. That's not bad. Sam, as just being your first feature, are you not only are you excited, but are you saying it as like having like an extensive role for a character? Are you ready to play a role like for like 90 minutes? Is it something that you're looking forward to, or is it something like as challenging as it might be?
I'm absolutely thrilled to be, the main guy. I've never had a starring role before, unless you count the things that I guess it's not true if you count sketches, but this is the first project of this scale that I've had such a big part in. And so it's really definitely exciting for me. It may be a challenge, but we'll see when I get there. I'm mostly very excited for it to be Pete Mackey, which is my character.
Yeah. And who's the other character? There's a co-star in it, right? Another friend character or a buddy. It's a buddy.
Yeah, it's a buddy pick. So Joe Coronado plays the other part of the duo. He's sort of a kind of slovenly, aimless guy to Pete's, more sort of straight arrow. He's a guy we discovered on TikTok. He's, sort of a natural comedian, hasn't done a ton of acting, but he just he's very dynamic and very, very funny. And he's a great kind of counterbalance to Sam and the Pete characters. So very excited about that dynamic in the film.
Yeah, it seems like I'm wondering where these characters are coming from. Where's this story you've been holding inside? Where like other characters loosely based off you, or just characters you thought you put on a journey? Or
no, not at all. Actually, the genesis of the project came from a short film that I did, and it was. I'd worked with Sam. I'd worked with another actor who's in the film called Jared Donnelly. Jared plays Sturgis Preston, who is sort of the villain. He plays kind of the man on the ground for this shadowy government-like agency. But I had written this short film, and it was very different. It was really about a con man who rolls into town and tries to take advantage of the locals. But I had written that with Sam in mind to play, this sort of nerdy kid character in town. And, I didn't do anything with it, but it always stuck with me. And, the more and more I thought about it, as I started to, want to do this feature, like I felt like there was something there with that story. And I have a lot of people that I've worked with on multiple short films. And, so I kind of have the crew that I like to roll with. And I felt like it was an opportunity to bring a lot of those people back and, kind of build roles for them. So that's where it came from. And yeah, the characters just, sort of from my imagination and also thinking about like what, would be a great character for Sam and some other folks I'd work with.
Yeah, that's great. So let's take a dive into some of these perks here so we can talk about it so people can get a real hands-on, see if what they're going to be able to get. Because I personally purchase Indiegogos lately because I think they're just a great way to support people. It's also like, associate producer is always just someone who can be there to help out. Or there's perks like being able to like be in the movie or get a shout out. So from the perks here, we have buy the crew a cup of coffee, which is a good like hello, IMDb credit, and thank you. What is this one about?
So this would be a thank you in the credits of the film, and you would also be credited as a supporter on IMDb for the mere cost of $20. There's also, I think, a social media shout out in that as well, where we sing your praises on Facebook and Instagram.
That's not bad for $20. And then you also have a signed 8x10 still image. That's a great one. The poster. Now, where this conceptual art came from? The poster. It looks amazing.
Yeah, so that is the work of Chopper Martinez, who's worked on the film with me, did that concept art. That is not actually, the poster for the film. It's just a concept poster. Obviously, we haven't made the film yet, but I will say he did a great job. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So here you're talking about on the left side of the screen, we have the buddies, Danny Morales and Pete Mackey, and then you also have Bailey Bell. I'm assuming love interest in the movie.
Actually, not a love interest. I think maybe a little bit of a crush for Pete's character, but she is just way out of his league, and it's not going to happen. Sorry, Sam. But no, she plays the reporter in town. She's an intern there at the TV news station, and the story starts. There's sort of a prologue. And there's young Pete, about 12 years old, young Danny, and then young Bailey. And they're, best friends, kind of just about to go into middle school. And they have this encounter with the Chupacabra. And that really sticks, for Sam, his character, Pete. And he becomes obsessed with Chupacabra and kind of spends, his life up to that point. studying Chupacabra and trying to determine how this sighting happened and what's behind it. Whereas Danny and Bailey kind of go off and live their lives, and then they all have to come back together to deal with the Chupacabra when it returns. So
Okay.
Bailey is the reporter working at the TV news station.
And then you have this Roy Dixon and Sturgis Preston. You got some really cool character names.
Yeah, thanks. I spent a lot of time. Got to get that name perfectly right.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, especially this name, the Sturgis Preston. That's a good one.
Yeah, he sounds like a total asshole, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like he sounds like kind of, but like he'd be good at his job though. That's why he's an asshole. He's like he's not the third, but he's the first, so he's got to get there first. You do have here arrogant, twisted, and overly confident. Confident. So yeah, that sounds about. It's a good character. I mean, I like the fact that what do you call it? So you have your the Legend of the Chupacabra logo on your like mugs here, and when you're thinking of like perks for just anything, is this something that came to you, or is it someone suggested, like on these like just like logos and whatnot?
Yeah, well, I think like branding is everything, right? And so I wanted something that would be distinct and memorable and evoke Jurassic Park maybe a little bit.
Oh, I see that.
With the color scheme. Maybe you see that there, but I just wanted a cool logo to put on everything. So as we're pushing out the word, like people would know, it's Chupacabra, it's the Chupacabra. So
Chupacabra movie, yeah. And then attend private screening. This looks like a good one.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love to, attend a private screening, go to a movie, be the first one to see it? So I would be excited, for everybody out there to do that and be there when the movie premieres. So
it says estimated May 2023. Is that when the movie you're wanting it to come out, or
that is
2023? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. We got getting close. Now we do have a question here, and I'll ask both of you this question because we have here first edition Blu-ray, and it's what do you call it? It's an actual signed copy of the movie itself. And let me just stop this real quick. I want to ask, what is do you think it's now that it's a physical medium, the DVD? Do you still think it's relevant? Do you still think it's something we should be going for? Because a lot of the questions on this network, when we do talk, we do find out that like when they do want to discontinue something like that, we all kind of get like, whoa, no.
So I mean, we'll find out, right? And it hasn't been a perk that people have really responded to. So maybe that's the answer. But I do think that there are people out there who just, like that physical, being sort of a collector, right? So thought it was worthwhile to give people an opportunity. It is something that I will, try to turn into a revenue stream for the film and, actually sell the DVD. So like, I understand I'm going to put in a minimum order. I didn't feel like there was risk, having that as a perk for people because I do plan to at least, get a minimum run of Blu-rays and have them and sell them, so good stuff to take to a con and, so.
Are you a big DVD collector, Sam?
Me? Not really, but I do think that for, real movie heads, this perk is worth it. I'm sure we've all seen like the Criterion collection picks. They'll have like a certain celebrity come into the DVD closet basically and pick out a DVD there. So people still like having a physical copy of something as memorabilia and just to have that keepsake for the film. So I'm definitely on board with having a physical copy of it, even if things seem to be moving away from that. It's a cool little souvenir.
It's the next vinyl, man. It's the next vinyl.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at, basically.
Yeah, because I got
gonna come back.
I'm a big DVD guy, and I like that I can get them collected, and get them signed. Go to, like you said, go to the convention. So I just question, because I'm like, I hope we stick with this. I hope we stick with DVDs. I hope we stick with graphic novels and books, and not just stream everything on digital. Because it's fun to like wait in line at a convention, and you have like the creation that you're gonna meet the creator of the book or the DVD or poster or whatnot, and you get it signed and talk to them about it. It's a great experience. I think more people should kind of look into that and see like getting like anything of because I don't know, I would think, especially me, like since I am a creator, if someone were to bring back something to me that I created, it'd be kind of a cool, like, oh cool, but I like that it's a physical. Also, I like that they can't go back and like change the movie, like it is what it is. And I'm like, I'm big on that. Just leave it alone, leave it integrity. I enjoy just watching movies for the story, and if I could learn. But as a filmmaker, as a writer, as an actor, I think just learning in general. But if we don't have, everything's just streaming too, so I kind of, I don't know, I like pulling out the DVD and putting it in sometimes. I'm finding out not all the time, because I can't use the headphones on certain movies. So I was like, oh man, I'm kind of limiting myself here, because I like to kind of surround myself with the audio.
Now, when I made the mock-up for that, the image, I was like, oh shit, that looks cool.
Yeah, it does look pretty badass.
I want one of those.
I mean, that's a big draw too. Like, just like with vinyl, aside from having, the medium itself, you get all the art and like extra details on the back and everything, and so it's like its own cool package for So it's a thing to look at in addition to the movie.
I mean, it's also like at home, it's a coffee table conversation or icebreaker or something like that. Honestly, just with, just DVDs alone. I just like the cover too. I don't need the actual DVD. Like when I travel to a convention out of state, I pull the DVD out and I just have the box. So I was like, well, if I lose the box, I could find it, but I can't lose the DVD. I think as much as I love the art, the DVD to me is more important, because that's why I have it. But if I go to the Goodwill and I buy, I'll buy like old DVD cases that don't have the DVDs in them, just because I like the case. I like the way it looks. I grew up on VHS, so I remember just going to the Video Central or Blockbuster and just seeing the VHS and being excited for holding like this thing that looked like a book, but it wasn't a book.
Yeah. But then you'd see that movie that you were all excited about it, and you grab the box, but there would be no VHS behind it.
Or a big one they would do, swap out the VHSs a lot. I used to get so mad.
Oh,
Get the wrong movie. Yeah.
Yeah, they do that. A lot of people, because they would put the VHSs just there, and people would grab them and swap them, and I'd be like, why do you do that? it's like, no, I want this movie. But I mean, times have changed, but yet still things like tend to hang out. Concerts are still big. Getting like merch from a band is still a big deal. Excuse me. But I think like for just what y'all are doing and doing a feature film in Texas and independent, it's an total independent movie, right? You're doing
as independent as you can be.
Independent budget as you could possibly be. So like finding out that this is local and Texas, are there any things that you've looked at as restrictions, or you just go and be like, this is what we're doing, we're gonna film, or is there? Because I always feel like maybe something's getting in the way for no reason. But are you like? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, are you guys ready to get started? Like, boom.
Yeah. I mean, we've still got a little bit of work to do before we start shooting in late September. Still got a bit of casting to do. There are a couple of locations. Like the big one is the last act of the movie takes place in an underground like compound.
Oh, okay.
So you know how you get that advice, like, oh, you're making an independent movie, one location, maybe 3-4 actors. Like that's not what this is. Like it's incredibly ambitious. Probably bordering on insane, but we're going to make the movie. I've had a lot of good fortune. And just recently, this past weekend, I talked with somebody who has I don't want to reveal too much about it because we're not totally agreed, but has a sort of sci-fi set that could potentially work as this underground compound, and has been very supportive about potentially helping out the film. So yeah, we're going for it. Like we're going to make this movie. I've always told people make the monster, make the movie, right? And so I'm already, I've invested in producing the Chupacabra creature costume. We're already in the process of doing that. This weekend, we start the cast of the actor. We'll start building it so that it's ready for the film. But I kind of pushed myself into that corner because I figured if I invested my money, to make that monster suit, then I was going to have to make a monster movie no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And I will adapt it kind of based on the budget that we have, but I want to make the best movie possible. I want to make sure that the people who are involved are compensated in the best way that we possibly can for them. I have a lot of support from people who believe in me, have worked with me, want to be involved in the project. And so, we will band together and make this film. But we want to make it as good as it can possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about a feature, man. It's a lot of moving parts, but just getting it done is the main thing. On our show Side by Side, I have a podcast called Side by Side Movies, and my buddy Ben Garrett and I, we watch two movies that have something in common. We just kind of talk about them, and then we move on organically to the next movies, and we just keep this chain going. But when we came to scoring them, we're like, we should score the movies. We're kind of critiquing them, and I kind of was thinking, and Ben and I thought at the same time, well, movies are really hard to make, so we can't give people zeros, but we can give a 1, because just to make the movie is the hard part. If you don't make a movie, then you have a 0. You have a goose egg, so there you can show a 0. But if you've completed it, it's like, man, I don't know how to even explain it. Like, I think maybe the stars need to line, or everything just needs to work, because I always feel like Murphy's Law. Whenever I decide to be like, all right, we're filming today, everything just goes wrong. Everything breaks. Everything decides not to work. Actors just decide not to show up. It's just like, but you can still film. But I'm just kind of like, well, this is not what we pre-production, because I don't know. I love pre-production a lot, but when it doesn't go to the pre-production way and during production, you just got to work with it. We got to figure it out. And as an independent filmmaker, you can lose days or you can make them up, and it's on your own, but it's on you. It's a lot of stress. So I give you a blessing there, because it's tough, man.
I appreciate it. I will take all the goodwill I can get. So yeah.
I mean, just to see this, when you got 2 more weeks, almost 12 days for your Indiegogo. I'm seeing right here. It says visit the set. That's going to be nice for somebody. That means that somebody pays and they can just show up and hang out with you.
Yeah, pick a cool day, when we're killing somebody, and just like come out on the set and hang out and see what it's like to make a movie. I think that's probably a lot of fun for people who aren't involved necessarily in the industry. You don't really get that opportunity to be a fly on the wall and just observe what it's like to make a film, and a lot of it might be a lot more waiting around doing nothing or what appears to be nothing. But you also get to experience those kind of magical moments when the cameras roll. So come visit the set, hang out with us.
And that's a good thing, like you said, like just paying whatever it is to be on set, to get that experience, I think is important. And movie sets are very boring for the most part, because you are just going to stand around. And I think if anybody's interested in doing a perk, that'd be a nice one, if you're especially in the central Texas area, because you could, like, we don't have a whole lot of sets going on, but if you have the opportunity to be on a set just for a little bit, you can get that experience and you can feel it, because it is something like, can you do this? Can you, if you really want to be an actor or an actress, can you go on a movie set? Can you wait? Can you be patient? Like, can you be an extra? I was an extra for a lot of stuff, and I didn't realize that kind of paved my way, because you have to wait. You're just in a big holding cattle cell, and you just wait. And I didn't know that was a thing to, like, kind of learn to be on the set, because sets are they can be intense. They can be very very intense, but they can be nice as well. It just depends on with your experience and with your with. But so I would really anybody out there listening to this, and if you want to do the visit the set, you want to get some experience, I would say get that one, because there was only 5. Somebody claimed one already, so there's only 4 available at the moment. So that'd be something that I would think that anybody that want to get any little bit of experience, that's where I would start. Now, this screenplay is yours, right? You're the writer of the.
I am the writer and director.
The writer and director.
Chupacabra, yeah.
So now, anybody who's watching and you decide to get a signed screenplay, you might want this one, because when this movie, 10 years from now is the stealer of the little darling awards and everything for the independent, it's gonna be nice to have a day one signature. Plus, I have scripts. I love scripts. Like I love reading them and going through them. So if anybody like was interested in getting a script and signed now, I think it's a great time. It's like a kind of like a stock is the way I see it.
I will even try to sign my name neatly, which is it's not really a skill I have, but I do my best.
So this is what I find interesting. It says, "Was that me?" Wait, was that me? Is that you put somebody like as an extra? What is that one about? Like,
so that's having your image in the film, and so here's a couple of examples of how that might happen. There's a scene where Sam's character Pete. He comes to a lamppost with a bunch of flyers on the lamppost, and there's a bunch of missing persons flyers, and so you could have your image as one of those missing persons. There are some sequences where there's kind of live streaming that happens, and so you could be in the live stream. What else is there? TV news thing. Since Bailey works at a TV news station, your image might appear in the scene on a monitor. So that kind of stuff, but be cool. Like, wait, was that me?
Yeah.
It was.
So another cool one that Sam had talked to me about was where are we at? You're Killing Me, on-screen death. This one seems a little bit cool right here. I think this is one that I was eyeballing too, because
that's the primo stuff.
This is the primo. So You're Killing Me. Who wants to explain this one? What if someone were to get this perk? What would be the I guess the best thing about it?
Well, you'd be slaughtered on camera. You would have that experience probably of having like tubing, taped to you and blood squirting out of your orifices potentially, and have an epic death scene on camera. So, what's better than that?
And this is gonna be like a full production. So if somebody purchases this one, you're gonna be part of the movie, but you're gonna die, but you're gonna have to do, like you just said, all the get up on, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be the real deal. So yeah, get ready to get slaughtered.
I think I like that one. I think that one's cool. Hey, look who's in the house, Terry Jarrell. Hey everyone, Terry Jarrell just shot a movie. He's doing the editing portion of his movie. It's been post-production for Harlow's Haunt. It's right here. It's a movie filmed in Central Florida, and it stars John Dugan from Grandpa from 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, wow.
And it's a horror movie. And he's a big supporter of the network. He's part of us, and I got to hang out with Terry not too long ago, and I'm looking forward to his filmmaking style. Woohoo! Yeah, he's got another filmmaker in the house. So Terry, he was on the show. He was our first Crowd the Fun, and we did Harlow's Haunt. And it was a good turnout. So I'm just trying to see where we can get more people involved in your project, because this seems like something that it's already full blown. It's going forward, and it seems like I would just say anybody who would like to be part of this. Oh, look at this replica Chupacabra mask. This is the one you're gonna make?
No,
okay.
I don't think I possess that much talent. No, Sergio Guerra.
Yeah, he's gonna do it.
It's our creature effects artist. He was on the original season of Face Off. Made it through a couple of episodes. He's a local San Antonio guy, super talented, and so he's doing the whole creature costume, and then from those casts we'll make some replica masks, and you can have that replica mask fully painted. Essentially, what we're using in the film. A little bit simpler though. It'll be kind of more like a Halloween mask, and necessarily like having the individual teeth and stuff that the movie costume will have. But nonetheless, very cool. It'll be a thing that you'll be able to mount on the wall, and that's one that I'm excited about. And I probably will score a replica mask for myself.
You know, and I think that's what I really like to get to people to know about, just being able. This is kind of like you're behind the scenes. You're right now kind of behind what's going on, because once this window closes, opportunities will be harder to get things, and like being able to get props, being able to get time on set, being able to get a video shot or whatnot, and people do that's a big deal, because a movie's only being made while it's being made. Once it's not being made, you got to move on to your next project, or you got to keep going. And I think with a lot of people that who are going to come back and watch this show, I want to really emphasize that if you ever wanted to be part of a movie, you've never done it, or wanted to just support somebody, this would be a nice movie to pick, because you do have a lot of perks here to really help not just the viewer or the fan, but just not just the person going to watch the movie, the fan inside of us. We can really like support it, and I mean, I'm liking all these stuff. Featured extra. Does this mean you get a little screen time, or what is a featured extra?
So it would be a prominently placed extra, not necessarily any dialogue, but that could happen. But rather than being somebody who's blurry in the background, 30 feet behind some action that's happening, you would be recognizable, in the scene. So that's the idea. And
then I like to check it out, Terry. Sounds like a very cool project. Yeah,
thanks, Terry.
Yeah, I mean, we got horror people here. It's going to be great. And he also said he got to hang out with us in Texas for a little bit, so he liked it. He got to enjoy that Texas heat.
Yeah, it's lovely here this time of year.
So Sam, preparing for an independent film, how much like preparation as your character and your role? How much do you really have to focus on that? Is it a big deal? I know honestly it is, because it's your first. But what I'm trying to ask is, for you jumping into this, how I don't want to like put you on the spot, but like, how focused are you? Because it seems like you're really interested in this feature.
Well, as for this role, I'm pretty much typecast as a nerd.
What are you
fine by me. Fine by me. It's a role I've played many times before. This nerdy kind of character. So as for prep, I think I think I'm pretty good. But yeah, I think I'll probably maybe have to do some sort of mental prep, at least for doing a character that has this much screen time and this much involvement. But other than that, I think I have a little bit of experience with this kind of character, and it's a very fun character for me every time. He's a little more, I would say Pete Mack is a little more personable than some of the other more exaggerated characters I've played. So he is comedic, but he's also, you're supposed to kind of relate to him. You're supposed to sympathize with him. And so he's not just a walking, stereotypical nerd. He's just a nerdy protagonist. So I like that about him. That's probably what is very different about this role from anything else I've done in the past, which has all been completely ridiculous characters. This one is a little more grounded and a little more realistic.
Okay, yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, because it seems like what do you call it? Just with just what you guys are doing. Like, I feel like it's going to be really easy for you to just go back into it. Because I see it as a feature. I don't know if you have this book. I'm pretty sure you have. I forgot where I put it. I'm all over the place. Where are we at? Where are you at? I have the Robert Rodriguez Rebel Without a Crew book. Have you read that one, Rob?
Man, have I read that one? I'm not. I'm totally familiar with it, and he actually had a show, Rebel Without a Crew, which was fantastic. But I actually don't know if I read that book. So,
but you've seen Desperado and Mariachi.
Oh yeah.
So if you're from Texas and that area, especially our area, you have to have seen that movie. Do you have any directors or anybody that influenced you as a creator, as a filmmaker?
Oh yeah, a lot. I mean, probably my biggest influence is Steven Spielberg. He's at the. You can have your Mount Rushmore. He's like my Mount Everest of filmmaker.
He's up there.
Yeah, big time. But in terms of influences, The Legend of El Chupacabra is a comedy. It's a very kind of joke heavy, horror comedy. And some of the influences that I think, come through, Mel Brooks was a big influence of mine. Like when I was a little kid, I was at a hotel and lived in a hotel for like a month before my parents and I moved to Germany, and there was only one movie that played in this hotel, and it was Blazing Saddles. And so, as like an 8-year-old kid, I probably saw Blazing Saddles like 100 times, and it just left this impression on me. Like wild, goofy, zany comedy, is gold.
Yeah.
But Steve Martin was another big comedy influence, like Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, The Jerk, The Man with Two Brains. Like, I love all that stuff. I was a big Saturday Night Live, fan, like in the 80s with Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and John Belushi. And so, those were influences kind of on the comedy side. John Hughes is another big influence for me. Loved all of those teen comedies. And then the Coen brothers is another pair of directors, like, Fargo. Raising Arizona is brilliant film. And there is a lot of that I think sort of bleeds through in The Legend of El Chupacabra, it being this sort of, kind of small town story, people with characters with small lives, but are bigger than life. Like, that's kind of what I am going for in this film. So those are a few.
That's awesome. Yeah. Because just those directors you said, they're enough. I mean, just to have like a John Hughes, Steven Spielberg, Coen brothers vibe would be, that's a lot. That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's in there too. I talked a little bit about like the prologue and when they're kids, and that's very kind of Goonies, like it's got that vibe. So I try to not so much consciously, but I think a lot of the people that have influenced me have come through in this film, both on the horror side and the comedy side.
Yeah, I mean, I think the horror community is is one of the best communities to be part of. If you like horror movies, they'll talk. So there'll be somebody there to talk to you about it. And then on the, I'm thinking about things like like Spielberg and Jaws. The issues they had with Bruce, and then on movies with Predator, like the first one, they had problems with the suit. I wonder.
Oh man, I can't wait to have all those problems and stories. Yeah,
I can't. I'm like. I'm just looking at Murphy's Law, like, damn, I bet she's gonna make a badass movie, because if things don't ever go to plan, but that's the best part. That's where I think that's the filmmaking process of it. Yeah. When you hit a roadblock, it's like filmmakers, you can't go through it, so are you gonna go around it, go over it? What are you gonna do? What's the solution? And I think that's I think maybe budget has something to do with it, or maybe people in suits, because I think that's what Spielberg's thing with Jaws was. He had to just start filming, even though they had the mechanical shark wasn't working. Bruce. So I think it puts you in a box where you have to like really think, what can I do? What can I go? And your movie, it's like I'm like you're going for it, man. You're going special effects. You're going big. You're going stunt team. You're going. So we need to get people to sign up for it, because it's not $20K for a feature film. Right now you're at 23%. We gotta bust this up a little bit, bump it up a little bit, so people can. Really, I mean, I think this is also just a great experience for when anybody's interested in just wanting to be, like I said, a part of a movie, part of contributing, and also it's a good for a good cause. Like, like it's a local independent movie. Like I can't.
It is. That's like another big motivation for me. Like, there's so much talent in Texas, between San Antonio and Austin and all around Texas, but I'm most familiar with the talent that I've seen here around the Hill Country. And this is a movie that's about Texas, and it will be made by Texans, and I think that's special. And there aren't a lot of movies like that, so I'm really hoping that we get the opportunity to make the movie that we want to make. We're going to make a movie, but we want to make the best movie possible.
Yeah, I got you. Real quick, is there a website for the movie?
Yeah, it's chupacabramovie.com.
All right, let me get that, because I think you can, because people will be able to follow you as you're going through the movie, right? As you're making it.
Oh yeah, and that's something that I think is maybe a little bit different. Like if you go back and look at the Chupacabra movie Facebook page, we've done a ton of kind of behind the scenes stuff, going out and talking to the stunt guys, going and talking to our creature effects artists, scouting locations. Like we're really trying to share that process, with the people who will be our audience. And when we get into actually making the movie, then we're really going to amp that up. And like we want to take you behind the curtain to see what it's like, to make this movie, make a low budget monster movie, see what it's like, experience it. So if you're supporting the film, it's not just about you giving us money so we can go off and make some movie, that you'll maybe see, in May of next year. Like we want you to be in that process the entire time. We're going to share it with you. And you'll get to, see how the sausage is made, as they say, the good and the bad, we're going to show you like what it's all about to try to make this feature film. So, yeah.
I'd also,
what's up?
I was going to say, I'd also recommend, speaking of keeping up with the film as it's going through pre-production, in addition to checking out the website, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, you'll definitely want to follow us there. On Facebook, it's just The Legend of El Chupacabra, and on Instagram, it's The Chupacabra Movie. So if you use either one of those or both of them, that's a great way to keep in touch with everyone involved.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Sam. Like, I think I feel like time is very valuable and precious. I think it's the number one asset, resource that we can't really remake. But if you take the time to make a movie and you get to see it, you can always see that movie forever. But if you're getting to see as it's going, like you said, when you're getting to see the sausage made or the hot dog or whatever, you're getting your meal prepped, you're getting it coming out. You're like, all right, I know exactly what was in that. Opposed to like, later. I don't know. I'm such a fan. I'm a super fan on a lot of these movies, and just in general, I try to promote some support as much as possible, because I think what this is extremely challenging. I think it's a hard venture and journey to go on, but it's a journey worth going on. And and if we can find any way, as the Indie Escape Network can find any way to like help you, with your journey and help you with any promotions or anything, just let us know, and we'll get on it, and we'll show everybody what you're doing, because it is a great. I mean, we're in August. And before you know it, I could already see May. It's like, it's so quick, because it's going to be football season, holiday season, and then Valentine's Day and spring break, May. That's just basically how it goes, And before you know it, it's something that you can be proud to say, like, hey, I help people support a filmmaker, You could do that, or you can go support your local bartender. But, this is a better outcome, I believe, And I feel like, 12 days, still a good amount for people to dive in. I mean, there's just a lot. You have so much information on your Indiegogo that anybody can just pull off and see where they can fall in. Or, I mean, this is just great. This is you put a lot of time into this, but it shows a lot of effort. But you did this yourself, right, Rob? You're like, I paid somebody.
No. That's me every night. Like, let's create content, I mean, like, I don't do anything half-ass. That's, kind of my credo. And so I won't do the film half-ass. I wouldn't do my crowdfunding page half-ass. And I thought it was important to, really help people understand, what the project is. That's why we made that trailer. And it took a lot of planning just to do that trailer, but I wanted people to have a real sense of, what this film, could be. So yeah, thank you.
Here we go. That. I got this here. Terry Jarrell wants some links. Let's see. I'm throwing it in here, see if we can get it. Here you go, Terry, because Terry was asking any links or anything we can do to the word out there. Just let us know. Yeah, I'll send. I think I might have put them on here, maybe not, but I'll get everything. I'll get back on it, and we'll get everybody to be able to follow and find you. And
I can tell you quickly, like chupacabramovie.com/launch will take you to the crowdfunding campaign, or go to Indiegogo.com and search for Chupacabra, which is a hard word to say, but it's that's actually a line in the film. But I'm testing Sam to see if he recognized it. But CHUPACABRA.
Yeah, I mean it's I grew up in Del Rio, so I'm from the border, and San Antonio is our big city. But I came on a podcast on Tuesday night, and as a bunch of guys from my hometown, and we were reminiscing on certain things, and I was like, man, I used to think in the back of my aunt's house there was aliens or demons or creatures, and then they started talking about the chupacabra on the news, and then the whole time I was like, it's a chupacabra. Find out it was just like illegals crossing over. There was nothing bad, but I was just like the whole time I was like, there's something out there, and I saw that chupacabra on TV, and it's gonna get us. All right, thanks Terry. Terry's got the links. He'll be throwing it out there, supporting.
But that's awesome, Terry. Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and that's what I love. It's like one filmmaker to another filmmaker to another filmmaker. If anybody we can just help out, because this is. I mean, as much as like, oh, CJ always says it's hard. I'm like, well, have you tried? Have you actually tried to make a movie that makes sense? Because anybody could slab over scenes and images together and say it's an art, but it's like I think it takes time to actually creatively put something together, figure it out, not waste your audience time. My three things are: did I learn from it? Did it move me? Or did it entertain me? If I can get one of those three out of a movie, then that was a home run. It doesn't matter what the movie budget was or the quality or the execution. It's just I'd just rather be like, hey, let's move on, or I can learn from it. Oh, thanks, Terry. You've got it. He's got to support us. Yeah. So, like I also said, Harlow's Haunt. Everybody, keep an eye out for it. It's right there.
Right.
I guess we're coming down to the end. We got about 4 minutes. Just wanted to be an hour. Didn't want to take too much of your time, but I did thank you for coming on the show and talking about it. Is there any perk here that you would say that sticks out the most from your perks? Because I have one here that I'm looking at that I want to ask you about. But is there anything that for Sam or Rob that sticks out that you would be like, if I wasn't making this movie, I'd get this perk, so we can kind of emphasize it a little bit?
Well, we talk quite a bit about the replica mask, and I think that's the thing that probably, I would respond to as a potential audience member for the film. But I really like these opportunities to be a part of the film and like have your image in the film or have your name spoken in the film, or actually be an extra. There is a virtual speaking role where you could actually you could live anywhere and still be a part of this Texas film. So yeah, if there's anybody out there who feels like, man, it would be cool to be in the movie, but isn't going to be around Texas, maybe they'll take a look at the virtual role.
How about you, Sam? Yeah, do you know any of these perks that sticks out to you?
Yes, I really like the perk of having your own music in the film. I know I personally, through some people I know, I've been trying to get local musicians, local to Central Texas, to get involved and try to have a song that they would like to have put in the movie, just to kind of make this even more of a collaborative Central Texas community coming together kind of thing with all these local musicians. But with that, I think it would be cool to have anyone feel moved into doing that. Obviously, it's up to Rob's discretion, to make any hard, fast rules about what can and can't be in the film, music-wise. But just generally, I think that's a really cool perk and one that I would encourage people to take up. If you're musically creative in any way and you have something that you'd like to submit for the film, that's a really cool perk.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one too. The music, your music can be in there. So I was gonna pick on that one, the virtual speaking role. So that basically means that if you're anywhere, as long as you have internet connection, you can be, your voice could come out in the movie.
Well, it would be your
cool.
image, and it could be in a scene similar to this where there's a conference call going on or something. There are quite a few scenes where the main character Pete has his YouTube channel and he streams And so he has some encounters with some characters, and I think that's an opportunity, for somebody to have a virtual role. But we'll look at that. Whoever buys the perk, and try to figure out something that's going to really work for them, and that they'll feel comfortable with, and get them into the movie.
And that's what I love about that, like those kind of perks. Like, you are the creator. This is your baby. And if somebody says, "Hey, I don't really know," and you're like, "I'll work with you. We'll figure it," because you're. That's another thing. Let me just ask you guys this, because this is something that I've been noticing a little bit about on when someone's doing a crowdfunding. They'll say act in a movie for like $200, $300, $400. Are you pro that? A lot of people frown upon that. They're like, "What about the audition purpose? You shouldn't just pay people to be in a movie." I personally, being here in Austin for so long and not being able to get casted in things, if I could just pay to be in it and I don't have to, I'll do that. Like, for me, like, I don't care about that. Like, because it seems like you're totally missing the audition process, but you still get that experience. You would still get that acting experience. You would still, it's better than nothing. Because I feel if you're just auditioning for the 3 or 4 roles that we have every 2 months, like, you're not gonna get much experience. So how do you feel about, like, if certain things like that? I don't frown upon it, but I think some people tend to, like, look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't frown upon it either. I don't think I would do it. I mean, in terms of a virtual role, like, I feel comfortable with that. For anything where I really, felt, dependent on that character or that performance, to ensure the quality of the product, then, I think that's, I want to go through the audition process. Yeah. So I don't know. It just feels like there's a lot of risk there. If it works for other filmmakers, then yeah, by all means, right? Like, it's hard to get a budget together for a film. And sometimes you need to do what you can. And you're giving somebody an opportunity to do something that they, might not be able to do. So
yeah,
I'm cool with it.
How about you, Sam? As an actor yourself, how do you think about that? Like,
yeah, I'm mostly okay with that. I think it's a great way for people to just get involved that otherwise wouldn't be able to get involved. Like you mentioned before, not getting auditions and stuff. There's people out there that want to really do this kind of thing, and I don't think the risks, at least in our case, are too high. I think it's a very low stakes thing to do that's still very fun. It's not like we're gonna risk having someone just derail the project or something. Have a bad.
Can you imagine if they came in there like a total diva asshole and just like,
I paid to be in this. You need to put me in the front right now.
Yeah, for their one line or something.
I know, right?
Like that. No, I think it's really cool. And I think the way that we have it set up is I think it's great.
Yeah, I love the perks. I think a lot of this is fun. It's you're right. It keeps you at a distance in a way, but you still get to have fun with it. You can't have someone just come in and be like, "No, I need to be in this scene, and this is how it goes." If you die, you die. Hey, you get to be part of a horror movie comedy that has like a death scene, and then you're in it, so you're gonna be seen. But we're running up past an hour already. I don't want to hold y'all too much, but if you want to throw out any what do you call it, where people get a hold of you, or if you just want to hold on to the information we have here, because it just seems like I'm like, where can people follow you? But it's like we already know, we already put it out. If you have anybody that really want to contact you, feel free to throw it out. But I think this is good enough already. What we have.
I think so. Chupacabra movie. That's probably all you need to know.
All right. Well, everybody, this is the Crowd the Fun. The Indie Escape Network presents. I'm CJ Robles, and we've been interviewing filmmaker Rob Mabry.
It was so close. Mabry. It's all good.
Because I thought I didn't see the Y or the I behind the MA, so I thought it was Mabry, but it's still Mabry.
Mabry, yeah.
Okay, Rob Mabry, and Sam Peirce. So thank you for hanging out with us. Anybody, we're gonna have all the links hooked up for their movie, for their Indiegogo. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on social media and at the Indie Escape, or you can personally reach out to me at CJ Robles 2.0. We're gonna close out with the video I start off, and then we'll be done. Yeah, y'all want to say anything else while we're here?
No, I appreciate it, CJ. Thanks for having us on, and let's make a movie.
Thanks so much for letting us do this.
Yeah, thanks. I love the let's make a movie part. So I'm gonna run the crowd fund. Y'all can just hang out in the green room for a little bit, and we'll get this going. So everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. Terry, thank you for another filmmaker for chiming in, and everybody, we'll see y'all in the movie. Peace.